Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guide. Thanks very much for joining me. The review that I have today is of the Derwent Studio pencils. Now, I done a review of these pencils right back when I first started doing reviews, and as I've been going through my older reviews, I kind of think that I gave those pencils. I didn't really test them properly. I wasn't really aware of what I was doing properly, and so I wanted to give them another go. So back then I had a 24 set, and I'd used them and stuff like that. I didn't have like a proper set to redo them with, so I went out and I got this set here from Derwent. This is a 72 set. This is the biggest set that they do. And I just wanted to retest them. I wanted to do a little bit of artwork with them. Wanted to test them on different papers, that type of thing, and give them a fair shout, really. And I'll be doing that with some of the other earlier, much earlier reviews that I've done. Now, for the most part, none of those earlier reviews, the information's going to change. For the most part, it's just basically going to be a higher quality video and a higher quality audio, and also as well some artwork to go along with it, because back when I first started doing the reviews I didn't have any artwork to coincide with the reviews. I just done the reviews and that was it. So anyway, this is the 72 set of the Derwent Studio pencils. I have done artwork with this one. Actually, I'm quite impressed with the artwork that I've done. I was really happy with the way the pencils performed, and I have tried them on lots and lots of different papers, which I didn't do back in the first one. Now, one of the things that I have to kind of like put to bed straight away as soon as I start this is, back when I done the other review, I mentioned on that review that the Derwent Studio and the Derwent Artists were exactly the same ingredients, and I got that confirmed by somebody from Derwent. But this time I went back to Derwent and I asked them again, listen, can you double check this? Because when I said that in the first review, a lot of people disputed it and said, no, that doesn't sound right and stuff like that. But the contact that I have with Derwent, she actually went and spoke to people at the factory and then came back to me. I think it was people at the factory, I'm not too sure. She spoke to somebody in any case, and then she came back to me and she said, yes, the core of the Derwent Studio and the Derwent Artists are exactly the same. There's no difference. They might feel a little bit different when you're using them, and that's because the core on the Studio and the core on the Artists are obviously different sizes. The core of the Artist is around just short of 6mm, and the core for the Derwent Studio is 3.4mm. So you can see there it's almost half the core size. The barrel of the Studio is also thinner, but I'll get into that in a second. And also the Studio pencil is a hexagonal barrel, whereas the Derwent Artist is a round barrel. But essentially the ingredients of the cores are exactly the same. So I've had that now confirmed twice. So anyway, let's take a look at the inside of this. Now, when I got this set, I have to say that the pencils were all over the place. And I think that might be one of the issues that I have with this set is the fact that because these pencils, I'm guessing, right, okay, so this is a wooden box set. I'm guessing that in this wooden box set, you have these little slots where the pencils go into. You can see an image of it now coming up. And there's also kind of like a foam protection at the top. And it's all to protect the pencils. But I'm guessing that these wooden boxes are pretty much the same size fits all. With that being said, if I take this little bar out, you can hear the pencils moving about in there, the Studio pencils moving about in there. And that's because they don't slot into these things. They're still very loose when they're slotted in there, whereas with the Derwent Artist, it's much secure inside these little slots. So I think Derwent need to look at that, especially for these box sets. These box sets cost a lot more money for people, and when they get these pencils, Obviously, when it leaves Derwent, it's out of Derwent's hands then. So if it goes to a shop or it's going through the post, they're most likely being chucked all over the place, as I think this set was whenever I first got it, because the pencils were all over the place. These little bars and stuff like that only held them in to a certain extent, but they had still moved out of it, and that is because the slots that the pencils go into fit better for the likes of the Derwent Artist, the Pro Color, all these pencils that have got much thicker barrels. The Derwent Studio is the thinnest pencil I think that Derwent do, and they just don't fit in this box set. And like I say, because it is a box set, I definitely think that they should make one specific for the Derwent Studio pencils, given the price that people pay. The pencils are held in place with this little wooden strip. There's 2 layers here to it, as you can see, and this wooden strip has got magnets on either end of it, and it just slots in to place. It keeps your pencils in place basically, and stops them from falling out when you're opening the sets up. So we'll have a look at the actual dimensions of the pencil and everything. So like I said, it's a very thin core, so it's only a 3.4mm core, and it's a 6.8mm barrel. The barrel is hexagonal. Along one side of the pencil it says England. Then so this, I think actually this is an older set that I got, because now the pencils say made in Britain, so I think this is an older set. Anyway, after England it says Derwent and then Studio, just to let you know the company and the actual pencil brand. After that, the Pigment name is on here, and there's a number because these pencils are sold open stock also. Then after that, you have the Pigment identifier on the very end here, and of course the iconic Derwent diagonal stripe that separates the barrel to the Pigment identifier. And you can see with all Derwent pencils that these diagonal stripes have a different color on each brand of pencil. With the Derwent Artist, they have kind of like this green band, and then with the Derwent Studio, it's kind of like this metallic purple. It's like a lilac-y color, something like that. And that's all the information that is on here. Now, with regards to Lightfast information and prices, I'll have all of that over on the Art Gear guide. So if you want to see the Lightfast information and you want to see the pricing of the various different sets that are available, that will all be over on the Art Gear guide. In terms of the type of sets that you can get for the Derwent Studio, they come in a set of 12. Obviously, they're open stock as well. Then they come in a set of 12, 24, 36. There is a 48 set, but that's only available in a wooden box set. Then there's also a 72 set, which is available in tin, or like this one here, the Derwent Studio box sets. Now, so 72 is the biggest set that they go up to. I think I did get it slightly wrong in the first review, because I said that these pencils are kind of like supposed to go hand in hand with the Artist pencils in terms of, because of their slim core and their slim barrel, it gives you that little bit more precision. And so my gripe in the first one was, well, if these pencils are supposed to go hand in hand with the Artists, then surely there should be 120 set of the Studio as there is 120 set of the Artist, but they're not really. I mean, the bottom line is the Derwent Studio is a pencil on its own. It stands on its own. Yes, it's the same core as the Artist, but it is a thinner pencil. It is for precision and things like that, but nevertheless, it's a pencil on its own, and it's not to run alongside the Derwent Artist. Now, most of you will know that the Derwent Artist is one of my favourite pencils, and a lot of people don't like the Derwent Artist because they're not very pigmented, and it's a pencil best used for layering. As you can see here, I've got the Derwent Swatch here, okay, of the full 72 set here of the Studio. Now I just done a heavy layer of all of it here going across, but you can see that the pigments are still there. It's not like these pencils that don't have a lot of pigment or anything like that, because they do. But I've noticed that with colour pencil artists, there's lots of variations of colour pencil artists. There's those that know exactly what colour they want, and they will just put that one colour down. They'll lift the pencil that they need, lay that colour down, and that's it. They might mix another colour in to make it a little bit darker or lighter or whatever. But then you have other colour pencil artists that will sit and layer and put lots and lots of layers down, then use odorless mineral spirits, blend it all in, and then use more layers, that type of thing. I think for the Derwent Artist and the Derwent Studio, those pencils are best suited to those types of artists that want to do lots and lots of layering. I also tried these pencils. Just let me move this to the side. I also done a little bit of a swatch here on a little bit of a blending test on some sanded paper, and as with my more recent Derwent Studio review, I done a bit of artwork on the pastel mat, and you could see there that the pastel mat was able to draw out the pigment from the pencils without the need to layer. Same here with this UArt sanded paper. The slightly rougher grain draws out the pigment of the pencil, and so therefore there's not as much of a need and necessity to layer the pencils to get that bright, vibrant pigment. I did do some artwork, like I say, and this was the artwork. Now, I know Alan Willett, who is probably one of the finest colour pencil bird artists out there. In my opinion, he is, in any case. I've got Alan's book. I've read all of Alan's tips and techniques that he has, that type of thing. But I strive all the time to try and get any kind of drawings I do with birds. I try to make sure that they're as close to Alan's as I can get. And I still have a lot to learn. But you can see here in this drawing, and I do have a speed drawing of it, so you can go across and see it. I'll also have proper still images of this artwork on the Art Gear Guide, where you can go, you can click on the image, enlarge it, inspect the pigments, that type of thing at your own leisure. But the one thing that I will say with the Derwent Studio pencil is the black was very, very muted. Now, I know colour pencil artists don't like using black a lot, but I did have to use the black for this drawing here from the Derwent Light Fast range. But all the other colours were used with the Derwent Studio. When it got to the background, I've lost the footage for the background. I don't know what happened, but all I used here was the olive greens, the black, and a May green and a grass green, I think. And there was another ivy green, I think it was, or so. I can't remember what the other green was. But the darker greens to create this background, and then it just used the Derwent pencil blender to blend it all in. But I was really quite happy with the outcome of this artwork. But like I say, you can go across and take a look at that on the Art Gear Guide. Links for all of it will be down below as well. So I also done the usual little layer testing here, where you can see I've done the light layer. So this is the first layers here is 1 layer, 2 layers, 3, 4, and 5, and then at the end here, at the very end here, it's just one heavy application. And you can see here with the black, it's not very, very strong. And I know colour pencil artists try to stay away from that, but on this particular drawing, I needed black on a few occasions, and it just wasn't strong enough, especially for the eye of the artwork. Okay, so finally, I always do this test as well, where I show you what the pigments look like on black paper. So with this one here, I've got lemon cadmium. So I always just put heavy applications down on this, because all I'm trying to show you here is the translucency or opaqueness of the pencil. So whether it's you can see the black through the pigment, or whether it's kind of like nice and thick, opaque, and you can't see as much of the black through there. And normally with most sets of pencils, you'll get some pencils that are really nice and translucent, and then you'll get others that are much more opaque. So I guess you can say it's a little bit like watercolors and gouache paint. and it just depends which pigments that you are using. So I've used the yellow. I've got to do the green now. This is the grass green. So that was the lemon cadmium yellow. Then after that was the crimson lake red, and then after that was the spectrum blue, and then the grass green, and then I've got the Derwent Studio white. Now a lot of people know that with the Derwent pencils, the Derwent Chinese white in the drawing range and stuff like that, it's a really close call as to which one is the best between that and the luminance, and of course the white in the light fast as well. But when I was like going through different tests on this, I was actually quite surprised at just how opaque this white was on the Derwent Studio as well. I wasn't expecting to be. I mean, like, I'm not saying it's the most opaque white pencil out there, but I was certainly expecting it to be a lot more translucent than that. I didn't expect the Studio pencil to be that opaque. So all in all, I think I gave the Derwent Studio pencil the first time round a bad shout. And that was primarily down to the fact that I wasn't using the right papers. The paper that I done the drawing on was the Fabriano Artistico white paper. It's watercolor paper. I'd seen Alan using that, and he had done a close up on one of his pieces he was doing, and I normally use a lot of Strathmore paper, but I'd seen one of his close-ups, and the paper looked like it was it almost looked like a canvas or something. It looked like it was woven together, and it looked really nice, so I wanted to give it a go, and I got a block of it. So that was what the artwork was done on. The layer test that I done there was done on Strathmore mixed media paper, which again is a nice toothier paper, and then obviously I had the UArt sanded paper, and that was the 320 grade, so it's quite a thick grade as well. And just to let you see as well, I should have done this in the middle of the review, but just to show you what these pencils are like on this type of paper, if I'll just zoom in a little bit for you. So this is the sanded paper, and I've just got a couple of colors here, but even if I hold it right back here, you can see that the sanded paper and you can see there that the pigment is definitely in these pencils. It's just that the type of pencils that are best suited on ordinary paper, on, like, you know, hot press watercolor paper or mixed media paper, to layer. But once you get onto something like pastel matte or this sanded paper, I'll do a heavy application here, then you use the pencils how you like, but you can clearly see there that they are well pigmented pencils. And then this white as well, you may not see it on this tan color. But I just wanted to make sure that when I was doing this review this time round, that I gave the pencils a proper try. Now, there was a couple of pencils inside this set that I was a little bit disappointed with, but as I explained to you earlier on, I think it has much more to do with how they were packed and what I was describing about the box not holding the pencils in place. For some of the pencils, than it being a fault at the factory, but one or two of the pencils as well were really badly centered. So as you can see here with the black pencil, you can see the core of the pencil is really quite badly off-centered. Now, I had two pencils in this set that were like that, so sharpening them is, anybody that gets a pencil that's really badly off-centered knows that sharpening them is a pain in the backside, because it's really difficult to get one side of the core, or to get all sides of the core exposed so that wood comes back and allows you to use them. There's always one side of the core is covered with wood. And as you can see here as well with this one, this pencil barrel here was split right open. Now, sharpening the core was okay, but the core is a little bit loose. It's not housed in the barrel correctly. But I think that definitely has to do with what I was saying earlier on about the box sets. And so I think that's definitely something that Derwent should consider, at least, especially given the price of these box sets. Anyway, guys, that's my review of the Derwent Studio. If you've got any questions that you want to leave down below, please do leave the questions. Or if you have used the Derwent Studio pencils yourself, I know there are a couple of artists out there that use them a lot, and they get fantastic results with them. But if there's anybody else out there that has used the Derwent Studio and either loves them or hates them, just leave some comment down below. Share what your opinions are of the pencils, and we'll get some sort of dialogue opened up, and people can share all their different experiences with the pencils. But if you haven't bought these pencils, and maybe it's a pencil that you've been looking at, if I haven't covered everything, don't forget, go across to the written review over in the Art Gear Guide. I've got all the light fast information, prices, links, things like that over there. But if there's not enough information over there and this video, then by all means just leave a question in the comment section, or fire me off an email. Or if you follow me on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram as well, you can catch me on any of those platforms. Okay guys, thanks very much. I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Bye.